How's it going, Critter Family? Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over a video by Will Atherton, 5 dog training exercises you should do every day at home. We got sunglasses on, not good to work on with a dog with sunglasses. We got his treat pouch that he probably rarely ever uses. We have what looks like a prong collar on the dog and possibly a shock collar. I can't tell, so I won't say for sure shock collar, but that looks like a prong collar for sure. Very pretty dog. It's a shame it has his ears cropped. You know, I love dogs with their natural ears, you know, unless there's a medical reason for it. There is no medical reason that I can imagine, you know, for it, unless, you know, I mean, I don't know this dog. So that's just, you know, a little nitpicking there. But, you know, I'm not saying that he did anything to this dog, but just a shame that they don't have their ears. I thought that was outlawed in the UK, but maybe he's not in the UK. So anyway, let's just get started. What does he have to say about 5 dog training exercises you should do every day at home?
What are the things that you should be
Sorry, I'm
doing
trying to see if that was a prong collar
with your dog to guarantee success?
I can't tell what that is. That might just be, it looks like the dog has 3 collars on, but maybe not. But that's definitely a prong collar.
To have the dream life with your dream canine companion.
I'm Will Atherton. I'm a canine behaviourist, and my goal is to keep all
Prong
dogs
collar.
out of shelters and off the euthanasia table. This dog has been abused and neglected and has a wide variety of behaviour problems because of it.
Slip lead, tight slip lead. Great, so this dog has been abused and now they're in the hands of someone who's not much better.
To foster him for 7 days and show you exactly what can be achieved with loving leadership.
With loving leadership with a prong collar. Okay, lovely. Leadership is not love. It's just nonsense.
Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Will Atherton.
So
this
it's
is
just
my mate here. He's a
prong
rescue
collar
dog,
and
but
his
in this
skin.
video I want to talk about the things that I've been doing every single day with my mate here that you should be doing every single day with your dog as well. So the first thing that you must get your head around is the importance of threshold manners. And by thresholds, what we mean is any entrance or exit that takes your dog from one environment through to the next. That could be their crate, out of their crate. It could be the room into the crate. It could be every single doorway in your house, in particular the ones that take them to the outside. It could be gates while you're out on your walk. Anything that is an entrance or an exit that takes your dog from one area to the next.
Prong collar. Ow. Poor little thing. Got all sorts of scars here from his previous life. Prong collar, pops, don't like it, don't need it. I would have this dog on a harness. I mean, I hate it. I hate it so much when people say, oh, I rescued a dog, and they put a damn prong collar or a shock collar or a slip lead on, and they train it like this, they train it like he does, they train it over controlling. You didn't rescue the dog at all. The dog has just gone from one form of discomfort to another form of discomfort. I mean, I guess it's better than being in a crate all day, but there's different levels to it, in my opinion. So if you are going to control your dog going from every single room of the house, I think that is so over controlling. Now, do I have, I have a video I'm going to show you up here of how I teach dogs to walk through doorways. And I don't have to have anything on them to begin with. I mean, I'll have a leash on a harness for safety. But I'm not using the leash and the harness. If you're going to control your dog at a doorway, I get that. If you want your dog to sit at every doorway or at least not barge through the doorway, then I get that. That's fine. That's Hi, Ellie. You're muting the mic. So it's one thing if you want your dog to go through a doorway, I get that. But if you're going to do that through every, crate door, every room of the house, every door of the house, you have to be in control. This whole leadership nonsense is nonsense. It's a way for people to just become over controlling of their pets. You mind?
Be managing with what we call threshold management.
Again, he popped it for no reason. He popped the dog for no reason. Sorry, Ellie paused it that time. That was not me. You were just getting into all sorts of trouble. but he popped the dog for no reason. The dog was standing there and he popped it again.
You should be managing
Pop.
with what we call
Dog standing there.
threshold management.
Pop again.
What that should look like is
then
that
he
when
goes
you
through.
come to a threshold, your dog is happy to ideally sit, stay and wait, or at least come to a stop, look up to you for guidance and direction, and you go through that
Of course,
threshold.
the constant guidance and direction. The constant guidance and direction. Look, I get it. If your dog is like, hey, can we go through now? You know, that's fine. But I'm not going to wait for my dog to constantly look at me, and that's just me. That's just me as an individual. I'm not going to require constant check-ins unless I have a dog that needs, you know, I need a few more check-ins because they're reactive or because they're a more nervous dog or whatever that may be. You know, whatever the picture may look like. That's just me.
First, welcoming them with you in a calm, relaxed state
Prong
of
collar,
mind.
correction.
If you just do that, you will be setting your
Again, Popped had to have his hand back to hold the dog back to go through the door.
self up for huge amounts of success that you wouldn't believe were fathomable from something that you might think is unimportant or trivial, but from the thousands of people and dogs that I've helped, I guarantee
That he's worked with. I don't know that he's helped anybody. He says he's helped them. I would say that I've worked with people. I wouldn't necessarily say I've helped them unless they say I've helped them.
that this is one of the things that will make the biggest impact for you and your dog's life.
Ouch.
Manage their environment, manage the threshold between environments, and do so from a place of calm, consistent leadership. The next thing I want...
I'm so tired of this leadership nonsense because you are an owner. You're the dog's owner. You can say leader. You can say pack leader. You can say I'm the alpha. You could say I'm the whatever. I'm the potato. I'm the owner. I'm the human. I'm the pet parent. I'm the guardian. I'm whatever. You could say you're the mom, the dad, whatever. Just, it's the mindset behind that bothers me. This whole leadership thing, that you constantly have to fight for your leadership if you think that you're a leader of your dog. Your dog is a dog. Your dog is your pet. And your dog thinks of you as a humanoid ape. Or possibly they might think of you as another dog. I don't know. But generally they think of us as like, they know that we're humans and we're different than dogs. And they don't necessarily think of us as their leader. Or their parent. They just think of us as like, hey, you're my human and I'm your dog.
To talk about is my food drill. Now, when you get a new dog come into your home, there's a couple of ways you can approach it. The way I'm approaching it with my mate here is that all of his food, every single drop of his food for the day, goes into his treat pouch in the morning. Now, I use this food throughout the day for all of his training sessions, and anytime he's simply doing something that I like right now. He's sitting, being really calm, well-mannered, and I'm going to let him know I appreciate that. Good.
I wonder if he has that prong collar on 24/7 because it's only meant to be used properly. It's too low, by the way. It's supposed to be higher on the neck if you're going to use it properly. And you're supposed to only have it on during training sessions, not 24/7. Mr. Leadership. I don't have a problem with him using his food. That's great, but I like to use a portion of the dog's food. I don't make them work for every single morsel of their food because I don't want to work for every single drop of my food as well. I want to be able to I want them to be able to work for part of it, and then I give them the rest to just eat just normally, or in a puzzle toy, or in something else that they can work on that stimulates their mind. But I'm not going to make my dog work for every ounce of their food. That's just me. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, some people do it. If you want to do it, that's great. That's just something that I don't do.
job. And I'm going to find as many opportunities as I can throughout the day to let him know, hey, I really like what you're doing, and I'm going to reward you for doing so.
That's great.
However, at the
Love
end
to
of the
see it.
day, any food that's left then goes into his food bowl, and he can eat it like a traditional meal. Sometimes
there
there
we
isn't
go.
any left. But once the dog is settled and become an excellent canine companion, you don't have to do this every day. Maybe you just want to feed your dog 2 regular meals because you've got them to a place that you're happy with. That's brilliant. But never leave your dog's food down. Ever, period, for the rest of their life. Use it as an opportunity to every single day build relationship built on your loving leadership.
Again, I hate this leadership baloney. I don't know. I think indifferently about this. I mean, I think it's totally fine once your dog is trained that you can, I don't think in free feeding, I think you should have meals for your dogs. That way it helps with continuing potty training in case your dog ever regresses on potty training. But I don't think there's anything wrong with just giving your dog 2 meals a day. If they eat within a certain period of time. If they don't eat, pick it up and wait for the next meal. But I don't see this problem with, just leaving your dog's food down, letting them eat when, during their meal time when they're hungry. I don't think you have to, I think it's good that you should work with your dog every day on stuff and drill them, a little bit with stuff like, I shouldn't say drill because that means people are going to do 25, 30 repetitions of the same thing and it gets really old for your dog. But, I work with your dog every day, but, there's times when I'm not going to be using my dog's food. I might use a toy. I might use something else. I don't have a problem with just leaving your dog's food down.
To do that, you fill the dog's bowl up, you put them into a sit and stay, you put the food on the floor, and you do not allow them to have that food until they're sat looking up to you for guidance and direction.
How about instead of guidance and direction, they're just giving you good eye contact? They don't have to necessarily be looking at you like you're a god. There's a difference between looking at you and making eye contact and like, dude, can I eat? And looking at you, so lovingly, like, oh, my master, my human, my god, my whatever. There's a difference between that. So I don't care that they're looking at me for guidance and direction because I want them to think for themselves, people. I want them to be able to think for themselves. I don't want them to have to look at me for every single turn. Hey, can I scratch my ear, boss? Can I sniff this piece of grass, boss? Can I move forward, boss? Can I get some water, boss? Can I lick my leg, boss? I don't want that kind of relationship. I want my dog to be able to think for themselves. And yes, look to me, if they get in trouble. Good girl. Allie's scratching on her scratcher for once and not the chair. I'm such a good parent, right? But I don't know. That's what I feel like when I hear people say leadership and whatnot. I feel like they think that their dog should look to them for every single move they make. If I have a dog, I don't have a problem with a dog. If I put their food down, they just go eat it. If they're jumping, if they're acting crazy, then I'll have them go into a sit. And I'm going to teach them to stay without requiring the prong collar. I'm not going to have to rely on a prong collar like this guy relies on the prong collar. I imagine this dog, I don't know, probably wears it 24/7, but I don't know. But I don't care if my dog is just ready to eat. I put it down and they go and eat. Unless they're a chow hound and they're crazy, then I'll give them a puzzle bowl or I'll work with them with part of it until they're a little bit more calm. But if they're going into ketosis, I don't want them to freak out and be so hungry that they're just dying and they eat it all up. I'll work with them a little bit to get them into, get their blood sugars down and all that. But I don't know. I don't think every dog should have to sit and wait and look at you to eat. That again, that's just me. Depending on the dog I have, if I have a dog that's crazy, then I will use that.
When they're doing that and they're being calm and respectful, looking up to you for...
are you calm and respectful when you go to eat? Not just him, anybody else. Does everybody, humans don't have to follow this rule if they don't want to. Why do dogs have to follow these rules and be so calm all the time and respectful all the time, all this respect all the time? There's a difference between a dog being respectfully just sitting there and waiting like, dude, I'm hungry, or standing there being respectful and not looking at you and just waiting for you to give them their food because they're expecting their food. And then there's being disrespectful where they're jumping on you and they're biting at you and they're nibbling at you and they're trying to get the food out of your hands. Yeah, that's disrespectful. But it doesn't mean that I need to use a prong collar or I've covered this point. All right, moving on.
Loving guidance and direction, you can simply then utilize break, and they can have access to their food. You can do that in the crate, you can do it in the kitchen. It doesn't really matter, but what
He has to have a prong collar on to feed the dog their food. He really has to have a prong collar on to feed the dog their food.
is important is that food for a dog is usually the highest value resource in their life. If you guard the gateway to them accessing food through either working with you or through a simple drill of sit, stay, break, you are going to help your dog understand that the best thing in their life comes from you and it comes through you. And for them to gain access to it, they simply need
This guy has a God complex, seriously.
to be calm, well-mannered, look up to you for guidance and direction, and they can have it. Do that every day and you'll be setting you and your dog up for wild amounts of success. The next thing I think you should be doing every single day with your dog, especially if you've just brought that dog into your home, is crate training. I truly, to my core, believe that every single dog on the planet should be at least crate trained. Once they're crate trained, you can then make the decision to slowly give them more freedom, providing that they don't start becoming reactive, anxious, or destroying your furniture or property. If they do any of those things, you can quickly bring them back into their crate. They're happy to be in their crate. Their crate is a safe.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of crates. I'm just not a big crate person. I'm not a fan of crate training. I mean, I do it. I teach people who want it, but I've just never been a crate person. You know, I feel like I don't like to lock dogs up and stuff. I mean, you know, yes, I understand that dogs will associate that as a positive. For some dogs, it's their safe space. You know, for a lot of dogs, they just don't like it. They don't like to be locked up and caged up. So for me, I'm just not a crate person, but, you know, can I teach it? Sure, absolutely. Can I teach a dog to enjoy it? I have a video on my channel of how I crate train dogs. And, you know, with Adonis, he's my first and only dog, and so he just wasn't a crate guy. You know, so I'm not going to harp on people who do use crates. I think I do agree that they can be very helpful, especially for a new dog that you have, but it can take definitely a while to get your dog used to being in a crate if they're not used to being in a crate already.
Place where they understand that they can settle, decompress, relax, and be happy. Provide that for your dog and you will have a happier dog and you will have a better.
I don't believe you would necessarily have a happier dog just because they're crate trained. I don't believe in that.
Behaved dog simply.
I don't know that you would also either have a better behaved dog just because they're crate trained. I mean, there's plenty of dogs that are crate trained and they pull crazy on the leash or they're reactive on a walk. Just because they're in a crate doesn't mean anything. It's just more controlling of the human.
By controlling their environment and giving them a safe space to decompress. And the next thing is exercise. Your dog has physical and mental exercise requirements. All dogs are different, but it doesn't change the fact that all dogs need to have those requirements for physical and mental exercise provided for them every single day. If you do that for your dog, tire your dog out, you will have a happier dog. A tired
dog.
That
I can agree with. Yes, that I think having a tired dog is a happy dog, but it depends on how you tire them out. You know, don't tire them out by overstressing them and overstimulating them, and then they get their nervous system is just shot and they shut down. And they can be tired from that, you know, but make sure you get them out for some good exercise, get them some mental stimulation, some physical stimulation. I can agree with that.
Is also a more well-behaved dog. A tired dog is easier to train in most situations. A tired dog is easier to socialize in most situations. A tired dog is easier to teach things like manners, rules, boundaries, and expectations in most situations. And a tired dog will definitely settle down much easier in your home than a dog that hasn't had those needs met. To make sure that every single day you're giving your dog plenty of
Glad
mental
he's calling him back on his regular collar and not the prong
and
collar.
physical exercise. And the last thing that you should be doing with your dog every day is obedience training. Yes, I'm a huge advocate for loving leadership, and I really enjoy very natural ways of living, communicating, and building relationship.
And he's constantly communicating using this prong collar right now. This dog doesn't need it, and it really bothers me that he has it on all these shots. I know it's the same shot, the same day and everything, but it's like the dog doesn't need it, and it's a constant correction for him.
With dogs, but that does not mean that you shouldn't be working on your communication pathways with your dog every single day. In my opinion, to have a perfect canine companion that's...
See, that's the thing, is I'm not looking to have a perfect dog. No one is perfect. I'm not trying to have a perfect canine companion. I just want my dog to be a dog and to be well-mannered and to be socialized, just like, any civilized human being would be, and any civilized dog should be.
Safe and under control at all times. Your dog should have a sit, it should have a stay, break, heel, recall, and...
Now, I don't think your dog needs a heel. How about a loose leash? Not a recall, and I don't care about a place. That's me. Can I teach those things? Will I teach those things to people? Absolutely. I mean, I teach them in my classes, but all these people ever think are the most controlling things that you can possibly have. I would rather have a leave it in place of a heel. And I would rather have, I'd have a good stay. I'd have a good sit. The okay is my break word, loose leash walking, recall. And instead of place, I don't know, maybe a good drop it or something. But, I have I have different priorities than this guy does. I don't think that your dog needs to have a good, again, unless it's a necessity, unless your dog really needs it, unless your dog is going crazy at the door, then yeah, a good place or going to the crate would be something good. If you're going down, you're in a city street and it's really, really busy, then maybe a heel might be helpful, or a loose leash walk that is by your side, or relatively close to your side, but it doesn't have to be this focused heel. But all these trainers that think the same way think of being over controlling.
Place. If you can do that with your dog, you can have a wonderful dog no matter
prong
where
collar
you
stop.
are. Even if you've got a dog
Lure
like
him
my
to
mate
sit.
here,
He didn't need the prong collar stop. He didn't need the prong collar to stop the dog. He could have just used the regular collar, or he could have just lured him back into that position.
Completely deaf. We can build those commands with hand signals to help him understand what it is that I want from him. And when he makes good decisions, I reward him for making those good decisions, and it allows us to build a relationship where he can trust me because he understands I'm going to communicate to him effectively and from a place of love. Not only what I do want, but also what I don't want. We make it crystal clear, no grey areas, and he's a happier dog because of it, because he has no anxiety and he has no fear around what he should do and when. In any given situation, he knows he simply needs to look up to me for guidance and direction, and with those...
Well, even if he looks at you for guidance and direction, you're still going to use the prong collar to move him around, to maneuver him, to move him left or right, to stop him, to make him go, to pop him, to get him to sit, or anything else that you want him to do.
Fundamental basics of obedience.
Otherwise, then, if you're so great with all this food, why do you have him on a prong collar?
I can ask him what it is that I want from him and keep him safe, reliable, and under control at all times.
If you have a prong collar, your dog is not under control.
So they're the things that I think you should absolutely be doing with your dog every single day if you want your dog to be a well-behaved, well-rounded, perfect canine companion.
Again, it's not about being perfect.
Now, if at any point you were like, how do I even do some of those things? I don't know where to start. Well, don't worry, because that's exactly what this channel's for. So simply...
Okay. So if you like him, you want to subscribe, go subscribe to him. It's like Fenrir Dog Training, or Will Atherton, his name, Will Atherton. So I disagree with a lot of what he does. I disagree with how he trains. That's just me just trying to point out some things that I see in this video. Let me know what you think of the video. Go say howdy do to your little critters. Say howdy do for me. Give them some kind of love and they appreciate. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.